What's up, everybody? I had a couple of fantasy matchup questions, and I just want to break this down real quick. I have no notes in front of me. I promise this is all off the head. Ali versus Usyk. I want to break this down. My boxing IQ says, been watching boxing forever. It's your boy Rick here. I told you Canelo, if you want receipts, they're all on his channel. I told you Canelo would lose big to Crawford. Broke down exactly what would happen to him versus Floyd. And so many other fighters, big fights I got right where other people got them wrong, calling them 50-50 fights. Ridiculous, just a cop-out. That's a cop-out. When did this 50-50 fight garbage start anyway? That's when these writers and guys with big checks that sit at ringside didn't have the courage to tell you who thought they were going to win, who they thought were really going to win. But anyway, you'll get boxing like nowhere else right here. So I just want to talk about this, and I want to tell you why I think who's going to win and why if they fought. Well, Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, definitely a GOAT. You got to look at Usyk's record. I don't have the notes in front of me, but it's like 20-something wins, undefeated. His big names on his resume are just, pay attention, are just, I'll say 5 times more, are just Tyson Fury. Okay, Tyson Fury, dubious, hurt him to the body. Some people thought it was a knockdown, whatever. Ali. I know some people are going to disagree with me. You're going to have your own theories, but Ali is just on another level. I'm sorry. If you're a big Usyk fan, reality check. Look at Ali's opponents. Unfortunately, Usyk doesn't have any type of opponents that even rival the skill. All right, Tyson Fury was very skillful. I get it, and the freak of nature, he's tall. But Ali, the level of punishment psychologically, boxing is psychology. You have the physical and you have the mental. Huge. Ali's mental, you got to look at the mental. Forget the physical. If God were to make a perfect fighter, in my humble opinion, it would have been Muhammad Ali. Perfect fighter, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, all the way. This man was amazing. He fought, Usyk was a southpaw. I believe Ali fought 2 southpaws, one in his early career, in the 60s maybe, and another one like in 75, I think. He had trouble with the first one, but he figured him out. Again, he's a boxing prodigy. And then the second one, easily right-handed, lands, knocks the guy out. The second one, the done guy, right? I have no notes, so forgive me if I'm wrong about some of these stats. So, okay, he's got the southpaw thing on lockdown. Anyway, he would have trained for him anyway. But Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, George Foreman, you could go on and on. Sonny Liston, monsters. Back then, fighters, I argue, were just ready to die back then. They were just, Ali had the mentality, and he said it after, I think it was the 3rd Frazier fight, Thrilla Manila. I think his first loss was Joe Frazier, and then he came back and he won a decision, and then the third one, Eddie Futch, I think, stopped the fight. That was Joe Frazier's trainer. Third was that, which I get confused, sorry. Yeah, it was the one where it was so hot, and he just said it was the closest thing to death, and in the corner, and they were almost going to stop it for Ali, but they stopped it for Frazier. Ali had that mindset where psychologically he put his life on the line legit. Whereas someone like Usyk with the dubious, who's not, and I said recently someone asked me, I wish I made a video on it. So I was a security guy at a building, I told him into boxing. Oh, Usyk's going to lose to dubious, to rematch, he's going to get knocked out. I said, I hate to burst your bubble. I'm telling you, Usyk's going to win the fight. Anyway, I wonder if he thought about me that fight night when he watched the fight. You saw Usyk hit to the body, and he was very bothered. That's just a little bit of what you see in psychologically where he would go. I don't think he would ever go in the levels where Ali would go psychologically, number one. So I think if you're talking about not physically, but psychologically, if you're doing analysis on these 2 fighters, sorry, espresso here, you have to really look at a lot of Ali videos, and you'd have to understand on those old videos what Ali would do to win. Ken Norton fought with a broken jaw for many rounds. Broken jaw. This guy, a modern day fighter like Usyk, I don't think even Usyk is Usyk, no matter what era he's in. I think he would be more likely to quit if he had a broken jaw and just stop and just preserve himself. Maybe not, could be wrong, but that doesn't matter. Look at the opponents of Usyk versus Ali's roster. Ali, no, I just can't, on paper, I just don't see it. Yes, I'm biased because I'm an Ali fan. He's one of my idols. The guy's just phenomenal. He's Muhammad Ali. The greatest of all time. He is the greatest of all time for a reason. But we want to give a fair shake to Usyk. He's a really good heavyweight. He's one of the best for sure. I'm not discrediting him. But when you size up the competition, it's just not there. The opponents, I can't think, oh man, but Usyk had that Mike Tyson opponent. What a war. You could see the depth in the variables that he would, like, of all the fighting that Usyk did, and all these, like, Ali, Ali just left like if you look at a brain, they say every time you learn something, there's a new wrinkle in the brain, and do they say that? It's just like a pattern of Ali just taking so much, ironically, the brain abuse, where he ended up with Parkinson's and major brain damage because of all the fights, all that he sustained such injuries while he kept fighting George Foreman, rope-a-dope. So if you look at Ali's opponents, it's very hard to say Usyk is gonna win. I mean, I don't see, the measuring stick is just not even here. It's like Muhammad Ali has all the weight, Usyk is down here. It's like comparing like a penny. I don't want to discredit him. All right, we'll say an average stock to a GOAT stock, to like Amazon versus some generic Walmart company. I see Ali as Amazon, and you see Usyk as Walmart stock. Okay, which one would you rather own? If I'm going to give you a stock today, which one do you want? Walmart or Amazon? Let's just say Walmart. I don't even know. Do they have a stock? Probably. Well, let's say, would you rather have like some generic stock? I don't know. So Ali, what I wanted to make the point was, Ali just went into these, like the Thrilla Manila with George Foreman. He was going into that fight because he had trouble. His first loss was versus Joe Frazier. He even knocked Ali down. You look at that fight with Joe Frazier, what Foreman does to Joe Frazier. And I just want to bring up, I believe it was after the damage that Ali caused to Frazier already. So going in that fight, it's I think history overlooks this. Because George Foreman was like the Mike Tyson of his era, right? He had this amazing power. He was just this, I always say Godzilla, love Godzilla. He's the Godzilla of the division, heavyweight division. He's the champion. When he fought Ali, he takes out George Foreman in like 2 rounds, knocking him out, knocked him down several times. It was just a blowout. So, whoa, there's no way. This happens in boxing today. People get disillusioned. There's no way that this George Foreman guy is going to lose to Muhammad Ali, who had all this trouble with Joe Frazier. 3 fights. He lost the first one, gave Ali his first loss. Second one, Ali wins. Third one, it was tough. Ali looked like he was going to die, in his own words, on his stool, but Eddie Foote stops the fight on Frazier. Forgive me if I'm wrong about any of this. I have no notes. I have a napkin in front of me and an espresso. Didn't do my homework. This is just in my head. So then you have all this piling up. Ali's stock just keeps rising, whereas Usyk, it's like, okay, he's good, he's nice, he's amazing on his feet, he looks great as a heavyweight, he beat this freak of nature, Fury, and Fury beat his big star fights were Klitschko dethroning him, and then of course Deontay Wilder, who had so much power. But if at face value, if you look at Deontay Wilder, who I'm a fan of, if you look at Deontay Wilder, he's a very simple, non-complicated slugger. He had a lot of gifts, the power and everything. I think he started his boxing career late, but regardless if he didn't or he did, he just didn't have the levels that Tyson Fury had. They're well-rounded, he does great jab, the freak of nature, just almost as tall as Fury, right? It's just not there. The competition for Usyk is not there for us, and it's kind of like unfair, because we want to see Usyk in there versus someone great. The heavyweight division sucks. It's like flatlines. It's just, it was really good. It was happening, and now who did Usyk beat? Chisora, who's Dubious? The guys that I don't even know who they are. Real talk. Muhammad Ali would have fought someone like Usyk and figured him out fast, in my opinion. Ali would do things that nobody else did. And by the way, the George Foreman fight, if you don't know. So they're going into this fight. George Foreman is like Mike Tyson back then. In the 70s, he's going to blow out Muhammad Ali. That's the word. He's going to blow him out. Ali figures out and invents on that night something called the rope-a-dope. And George Foreman being the dope, he realized that George Foreman hit so hard that he doesn't want to exchange with him, that he's going to sacrifice his mind, body, and soul. He's going to just give himself up to the audience, to us, because we're watching for entertainment, but he's going to give his life up and just lay on the ropes and let George Foreman, the guy was a boxing genius, George Foreman punch himself out. Because in the moment, switching like Crawford, because his boxing IQ is so high, he realized, I'm not going to beat this guy in one way, so I'm going to invent something totally new on my feet and just lay on the ropes, take the abuse to the body, take shots to the head until this man, I'm going to sacrifice. Do you realize the psychological, the psychology of Muhammad Ali as far as boxing goes? How insane that is? I'm going to give up a part of my life right now in this ring to beat this man by letting him hit me and just block as much as I can. And I'm going to sacrifice this part of my body, my mind, body, and soul, because he's hitting his mind, and he did. And I'm going to let him punch himself out. Basically, George Foreman punched himself out. And when you watch that, you realize it wasn't Muhammad Ali's couple of shots that really hurt him. George Foreman literally gassed himself out because he, in the belief that George Foreman, when he hits people, they go down like Frazier. And again, very important. Frazier was damaged goods going into the Foreman fight. I believe if he wasn't as damaged, that fight would have been a lot longer maybe, if it was a fresh Frazier that stepped in with Ali on the first fight. But that's another story. He was damaged. He was definitely damaged. You don't take shots like that. He was already messed up going in that fight for sure. You can't argue if you see the 3 fights versus Ali and Frazier. He's going in there with his life. It's like an old car. It's like a car doing Lyft or Uber Eats or Uber deliveries and just going and going. That was Frazier going into that fight. Ali too. Ali was damaged, I argue, with Frazier. He wasn't the same. There's no way every time these guys go in the ring and they're taking these clean shots for round after round, they're not the same anymore. Every time they go in the ring, there's a little less of them, especially when they're taking shots like this. That's why Floyd Mayweather type fighters, Crawford, doesn't, even though he gets hit more than Floyd Crawford, but they didn't take the big damage in their careers. They can get to 36, 37, perhaps 38 like Crawford and perform well. So Muhammad Ali sacrificed himself on that night. He did. And he won. George Foreman fell and got knocked out because he was just tired. George Foreman had the belief in his psyche, I'm going to knock this man out. One of these shots is going to hurt him, and I'm going to just gas myself. I'm going to just keep punching and punching and punching until he has nothing left. In the belief, that is George Foreman's psychological belief on that night. Because you could see it, you can't get in someone's head, but you could see it physically if you read him and you watch what he's doing. He had the belief that one of those shots was going to take Ali down. But Ali is such an amazing fighter and had such determination and will, and is such a winner mentality by all means, by any means necessary. Ali was going to beat Foreman on that night. And you take all of this and you throw him in there with a guy like Usyk. Come on. You take a fresh young Usyk versus a fresh young Ali, and I'm telling you, Usyk would have his moments. Let's not discredit this man. He would have caused Ali some problems and nuances and spots, but Ali would have figured him out, and Ali would have died trying to beat him. You believe it. You believe it because you see it. You've seen it in Ali's history, in his resume. You see it on video. The receipts are all there. Whereas Usyk, not so much. Usyk is not going to perform like that. It's just not going to. And it's like I said, it's unfair because we haven't seen him tested. He's just fighting blasé heavyweights outside of Tyson Fury. They're okay, but they're not amazing. Unfortunately, the competition is not there for Usyk. Like I'm talking about like the Fraziers, the Ken Nortons, the Sonny Liston level fighters of the era, the George Foreman, Frazier, and so many more. And when you see Ali later in his career, of course, versus Larry Holmes, this man was a shell of himself. He shouldn't have been fighting. So I pick Ali probably because I looked at the dubious fight. I just something with that knockdown. Even though let's say it was a legal shot, he was hurt, and Ali would have sniffed that out in 2 seconds. That Usyk's body was suspect. I think Ali would have worked that body. I think Ali would have landed a lot of rights. It would have been really fun to watch. I think Usyk would have been fatigued, and I think he probably would have took Usyk out, if not decision. I just don't see anywhere in this universe where a young Ali versus a young, fresh Usyk, where Usyk wins the fight. This is my opinion. We'll never know, but I just see that. Again, I'm not discrediting Usyk, a really good fighter. Tyson Fury, really an amazing freak of nature. The height, everything, really good fighter. The jab, everything is just really good stuff. But that's all he has on his resume, Ali. And I don't see much. I don't even. I'm looking at these other fighters. To me, they're like B heavyweights. I'm sorry, Ali fought A heavyweights. All his key matches, big fights. Ali's big fights. I mean, you got legends just in that period of time in boxing. And where back then these guys would just go for it. They didn't care. They would just go for it. Ron Lyle versus George Foreman. Look at that fight. George Foreman was a monster. Ali, again, psychology. He outwilled him. He outsmarted him. He outwitted him. And physically, he was better. He could sustain the damage. And he had all these pieces together to make the perfect fighter. Light on his feet. Usyk, really good on his feet. Amazing. No doubt. I don't want anyone thinking I'm discrediting Usyk. But when you're comparing him, like I said, an Amazon stock versus a Walmart stock, versus I think Sears had a stock at one point. It was just, it's just not quite. It's just not there. It's just not there. It's just like, who do you want to be? If you're gonna here, I'll ask you this. If you disagree, who do you want to be? If you have a fight video game, right, and you can make the perfect fighter, and you had choices. Would you rather you pick the perfect fighter? Who would you pick? George Foreman? Would you pick Frazier? Would you pick Usyk? Would you pick Fury? Or would you pick Muhammad Ali? Or would you pick Mike Tyson? If you really wanted to win and money was riding on this thing, the attributes, the psychological makeup, everything, the resume, who they fought going, we see the resume of Ali. Who would you pick? Who would you pick? Like I said, if you're gonna pick a stock, you pick Muhammad Ali all day. If you're really looking at this stuff. Anyway, I'm out. See you in the next one.